I love the fact that he's putting his head all the way down now. This is just awesome. Manzer and I just spend a lot of time hanging out together like this. So when I go and put his hay out in his paddock, or him and Nika's hay out, he just follows me around, and Nika sits in her stall and eats. So he's allowed to go in and out of the paddock. And then when I'm doing stuff inside the barn, then I leave this door open so he can kind of wander around. I like him to be able to investigate. As long as he's not getting into trouble. Just made me realize I don't know where my dog went. Not good. Betcha she's locked in the hay barn. See how he walks with the front feet? He kind of toes out. So that's my concern now. It's like every week I have a new concern about him. He doesn't seem to be limping now. That's great. You always love when they pick stuff up and then it gets stuck in their mouth. So that's fun. I've had that happen quite a few times with horses where they pick it up and it just gets caught between or behind their front teeth. Oh, what a good boy. But anyway, so now, yeah, the thing is I'm watching his front feet and how they kind of stick out. I don't know if it's just because of how he's trying to reach the ground, and so that's just kind of how he's holding his feet, or what. I don't know. There's so many things that, there's so many new things to worry about every day. And really, I'm not worried. I'm not worried. It's just a thing. Just another observation, daily observation of this little guy. But he's doing really good with his grain bucket. That's working out fabulous. It's just the right height. And he can just kind of munch and wander and come back and munch. And I don't have to worry about him knocking it over. And he definitely has his mom's incredibly annoying eating habits. So that's one, yeah, I'm talking to you. That's one thing. I watch him and I'm like, oh my gosh, her one really irritating habit, how she eats. Yep. So I'm gonna go back too with her tongue. Nika's tongue has got to be just an awkward size. And from watching him from birth on, his tongue is clearly a little longer or bigger than normal. So I wonder if the odd eating behavior has to do with that. Doesn't matter, but it's just again, an observation. The thing I like about having this elevated too is he can't paw at it and flip it over. I always feed horses based on their habits. So if I have a horse who, like him, I'm feeding him with his bucket a little higher simply because he was having a hard time reaching down to it and then he was flipping it over, and I didn't want it to become a habit because he got frustrated. So, but there are horses who, I'll have a feed pan like that black one in the corner, and I'll just have it on the ground, and they come in the stall and they flip it over right away, and then the grain goes everywhere, and they spend the whole time chasing the grain around, and then it gets mixed in with shavings and whatever else. These floors are just concrete in here, and I don't really put shavings down unless I've got some urine or something to absorb, because horses don't stay in my stalls for very long. But anyway, So that's irritating when that happens. So with some horses, I just keep a corner of the stall swept clean, and then I just dump the grain. And that seems to work out really well because it all stays in a nice, neat little pile, and they clean it up without spreading it everywhere. And if it's right in the corner, they don't have a tendency to want to paw at it because it's hard for them to reach. So that just kind of works out. So for this little guy, this is how his bucket is for now. And I would prefer to have him eating out of the grain bucket off the floor. I think it's healthier, better for him. But for now, this works out just fine. So we'll see how he goes as he develops. And we have Clover, the world's cutest kitty cat. Meow. Manzer hears the kitty and he's immediately got to look at her. And for those of you who have been concerned about his hind legs, look at how straight that little guy is now. He's like, what are you doing back there? So these legs are straightening out so nice. He looks a lot better than he did. Today is August 25th, so Manzer is almost 3.5 months old, and this has become a thing now where we just kind of hang out in the barn together. I just spend a lot of time hanging out with him. I want us to be pals. You know, if you think about it, you know, I hope I'm gonna be spending the next, 20 to 30 years with this little dude. So, I wanna just have him enjoy being around me from the beginning. And yeah, so this is a great way for us to just kind of hang out together. Cat's eating grass that's growing up through a crack in the corner. He's trying to grab her tail. Oh. Silly little buddy. Right here. Is that your G-spot? He says, oh, thank you, Mom. It's like, thank you, my human. Getting all my itchy spots. Oh my gosh, he looks so much like Nika right there. Just his facial expressions. He looks just like his mom. All those muscles and veins sticking out everywhere. Look, I mean, seriously, look at that muscle. Look at that. That looks just like his mama. It's awesome. And then this muscle right here is gonna be huge. When you get the right spot, he just kind of almost wants to sit down. He says, yeah, that's the spot. I mean, this is the most gratifying thing ever. I mean, just to have this little guy just show you that, yep, you hit the right spot, and that's exactly what he's looking for. That's awesome. I like that. I don't want him to ever become rude. I'm not going to let him become rude about it, but when I get the opportunity to go and scratch on him, I'm going to. This is going to come in handy when it comes to riding him. So at 3.5 months old, this little guy's got, let's see if we can see, lots of twofers. He's got lots of teeth at 3.5 months old, and they are growing significantly. Now that I can keep him and his mom separated for a significant amount of time, now's when I can really start working on halter training him. Because I want to be able to have him in a stall to work on that. So it's going to be a process, but now I'll have a little bit more time. And I wanted to get him to a certain point before I started fiddling around with it. But he's to a point now where when I take him and his mom out in the yard together, he wants to venture off a little further than what I'm comfortable with I don't want him taken off, so I'm very cautious. But don't worry, when it comes time for him for halter training, I will make sure to get all that on video. So I won't do it unless I've got somebody here to video for me. But he's just trouble. He's got to get into everything. Now he's going to pull everything off the wall there. Stinker. That cute little white back foot. So cute. He's going to taste his mom's halter. Yep, that's your mom's halter. Lead rope. Yeah, Petra's. My entire herd's halters. He's like, I gotta check them all out, pull them all down, make a mess. It's funny, the halter that, or the lead rope that he has a hold of now is the one that's attached to the halter that I got for him. That is now way too small to even consider. He was just ripping around out here pretty good. Little bugger's fast, just like his mama.